Hello everybody and welcome back to Farm Sim 25 and welcome back to our New Frontier Survival Challenge. You can see we've got Bucky on the back of Mac, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to get rid of the forest next to our gigantic field to make way for another part of a gigantic field. I don't know if we're going to combine the fields or if we're going to make a whole separate field, but we want to make room. So, while we do that, I thought now would be a great time to go ahead and use some tractors and AI to cultivate the fields in preparation for next year's planting. I mean, it just makes sense, right? So, let's jump over here first. We'll get into Big Red, hook it up to the Dalbo, get it started. Let's get Bessie out the way. I don't know why I parked Bessie in here. I can't remember. I think it was because it was raining. I forget. But either way, we'll get Bessie out the way. Park it over this way. There we go. But we have the Dalbo here. God darn it. Get out the way. And so I figure we'll get the Big Red out and start using Big Red to pull the Dalbo around and get the fields cultivated. While I'm working on getting rid of the forest. Seems like a win-win to me. Get two things done at the same time. Efficiency. Right? So, let's get this over here, get it started. And then once we get this started, I'll show you guys the plans in terms of cutting down the forest. Now, a lot of you guys have been bringing up the fact that I need to finish this road. You are correct. I just haven't had a chance to because I have to buy this piece of property first that borders us. But yeah. We'll get there. It just takes time. But for now, the other thing that I was thinking is we need to bring this field in and kind of extend it as well. So we should probably do that first. Let's go ahead and drop this here. That way the Dalbo's over here. We'll go back. We'll get our plow, subsoil, or whatever you want to call it. Try to connect this part of the field to make it a little bit bigger. It ain't gonna be a huge expansion, but it should give us a little bit extra. And then that forest over there has got to go bye-bye. So we got a lot of work to do today. There's also a couple of other things that I've been thinking about. We sell our corn in June, right? Same thing with the soybeans. We can basically double our profit. Not quite double our profit because we're gonna have a bigger expense just due to some things. But I wanna think about getting a corn drying setup. There is a mod out for doing corn drying. Where in the world? Oh, I parked it outside, didn't I? I think I parked it outside. Didn't I? Somewhere is it off to the left side? Ah, there it is. I was gonna say somewhere is our plow, and I get there it is. We good. Wow, we just barely missed that tree. I am a professional. Boop. All right, let's get Big Red over there. We'll try to make the field a little bit bigger. Now again, I don't know exactly how much we're going to be able to extend the field, but should be able to make it a little bit bigger. Now that we got rid of the little forest. Alright. So, if we look at the map, we want to look at the farmland side of the map. And you will see that we are essentially right up against the chunk, right? In terms of as far left as we can go. So we can extend this down to about even with that. So that's what we're going to do. So I think the easiest way to do that would simply to be to go to this end and drive up the side of the field. We want to point ourselves in such ways as to be roughly in line with said border. So if we go ahead and we set up our allow create fields, drop this down, and drive in a straight line from here, this should give us a decent sized field expansion. You can see there is little chips of wood that are still like laying around, but they're not going to hurt anything. Alright, so that's probably about it. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Turn this in. Let's go ahead and drop her down. And connect the two fields. Just like that. It's not perfect, but it'll work. Let me push the dowel a little bit here. There we go. Alright, and then we just fill in that little gap. Again, not a massive expansion to the field, but should yield a little bit more than we used to. So we'll fill in the gap real quick. Only take a few seconds here, so I won't bother time-lapsing this part or anything. But once we get this part like filled in, we should be able to use this as one field now. You can see there are quite a bit actually of wood chips that are laying around, which is not ideal, but again, they shouldn't hurt anything. It's more of a visual thing at the moment. I don't think they'll bother any of our equipment or anything like that. Actually, I lied. It is kind of making the plow jump up, so it might actually cause some issues. Might be one of those things that we can run Bucky over here real quick and just chew them up. Doesn't hurt anything to chew them up. And you can see this isn't going to take very long to fill in, but should yield a nice little chunk of extra field that used to be forest. So that next year we get a little bit more out of each field, and there's actually a stump still. So yeah, we're gonna have to bring Bucky over here, do a little bit of cleaning up real quick. No biggie. Was kind of a rush job when we did the Bucky expansion over here. Just a little test, and I think the test worked out pretty well. So missing a couple of chunks of wood and a stump or two. Not too shabby. But yeah, this should make it all one big field now. So if we were to, say, press this button, you can see that that field expansion did help. Now we could still expand into this corner a little bit more, but I don't think it's necessary. And then of course this is where the road's coming through, so we don't want to mess with that, right? But for now, I think Big Red is done with that. I will go ahead and have Big Red start doing the Dalbo, the cultivating. We'll drop this for the time being. We'll have our farmhand come over and start working on this. And then we'll bring Bucky over and we'll get rid of those stumps. Just kind of backing up to the edge of the field here. I don't know where they're going to start at, so we're simply just going to go to AI, let them do their thing. That didn't work. AI, do your thing. Alright, so you're gonna do that. Let me jump over into Mac. We'll get Bucky brought over. We'll clean up those couple of stumps and wood chip, the little chunks that are laying around, and then we'll go from there. Now, you guys did say that you want to see a little bit of Bucky, so maybe I'll start showing some of the forest clearing, and then I'll just cut away and then cut back after we're done. But, yeah, this seems like a pretty good spot. Bring Bucky in. I am going to get rid of this patch of trees as well, even though technically it's not our property, I don't think. Whoops. I am going to need to unstrap. Put out the ramps. There we go. And now Bucky should be able to come off the trailer. We'll start with the chunks that are actually in the field. I forgot to lift my my claw, my grinder. We'll start with that. And then we'll go to the other stuff. As you can see, there are a little bit of chunks laying around. And just turning this on and driving over those should get rid of them, I believe. Yep. Beautiful. Right in there. Okay. Any other chunks up here? I think so. Alright, I know there was a couple of chunks down this way. We'll grab those real quick, and we'll get ready to start doing the forest clearing. Like I said, we will get rid of this little patch that's right here just because, and then we'll start on the big forest chunk, which is the reason that we're here today. Chunk is gone. Beautiful. Alright, now we'll get rid of these that are along the road here. On this side. And then we'll go to the other side and do those as well. It is so nice being able to just yeet trees, man. Like, I know it's not the most realistic thing in the world, but let's be honest. What we're doing isn't the most realistic thing either. One person coming in and trying to claim an entire area and build up, essentially, civilization from nothing is a tad bit unrealistic. You would definitely be having a crew out here instead of just one person. But is what it is. We make do with what we got. We've done a great job up to this point, I think. And like I said, any of these trees that you see still like popping in and out of existence, they are gone. You simply have to leave the game, save and come back, and then they'll stay gone. Whoop. Apparently that didn't get rid of the stump. It did now. Alright, so that is all of the stuff on this side that we wanted to get rid of. We're going to start working on the big forest over here. One tree at a time. Bucky will clear way. Really? You going away, little devil trees. This tree fell on me. Help! Bucky doesn't care. Get out of my way, he says. I got work to do. You're slowing me down. These trees right here, the Manchurian red pines, they seem to be the one thing that's like slowing Bucky down a little bit, but you just have to hit them from the right angle. Once you get them at the right angle, they usually are gone. And like I said, every once in a while he leaves a stump behind, but other than that, this is so much quicker than doing this the old-fashioned way. Devil trees, occasionally they have their branches sticking out one side a little bit too much, so I have to go like around. You can see Bucky makes short work of this forest. Look how much we've already gotten rid of in terms of forest density over here. Kind of crazy. Just line this thing up. Knock down what we can. Still a little chunk there. But again, we'll find all that when we go to either extend this field or create a field. Again, I'm not sure exactly which way I want to go with it just yet. I think at this point you guys have seen exactly what we're up against here. So I don't know if I'm going to time-lapse this or if I'm just going to simply cut away and cut back when I'm done. I'm not sure. Bucky doesn't really lend himself to time-lapses very well, just due to the fact that there's a lot of jerky movements that kind of make the time-lapse look like crap. All right. So, yeah, we've gotten rid of the entire forest. Honestly, that did not take that long. You guys know about how much you guys saw me do. I don't know exactly how long I showed, but I showed a little bit. It only took about 15 minutes from what you guys saw till now. And I did go ahead, save, quit, and come back so that the trees would just stay away so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So if you do have those trees that kind of like fade in and out of existence, even though they've already been deleted, simply just go ahead and use your save, quit, come back, and it should fix it. Should. Haven't had any issues, but you never know. Also, we managed to beat the AI. That's how quick we got this done. Now, again, I'm not going to put Bucky up just yet because there is a chance that we'll need him for continuing there, but I think I am going to connect these. Remember, we said initially that we wanted to make one giant field out of this valley, and so I do want to continue that promise. So that is something we will be doing, but let me just go ahead and jump in this one real quick. We'll watch him as he finishes up our beautiful little field that we've got going on this side. And eventually we'll buy the land right next to us. We'll be able to fill in that gap down there and fill in this added to this field. But it just takes time. And I do want to get into doing animals and stuff in the near future. We already have grass field back at the Hidden Springs area, so we can like cut that for grass or silage or whatever we need. Eventually, I want to get some fields set up for things like wheat or sorely or whatever. Or sorghum, sorry. Wheat or sorghum or oats or whatever. Because that'll allow us to do some extra stuff. Alright, we're going to just get rid of the AI for the moment. Because I feel like he's being inefficient here at the end. And then we will set ourselves up to go ahead and knock this out. But yeah, we managed to beat the AI in terms of getting this done. Now, one thing I didn't mention that I probably should have is we will have to go ahead and relime the fields because we are adding on expansions. Now, I could just lime the areas that we've expanded to, but you guys know I don't like to do that because then the fields end up uneven in terms of their overall like care that's needed. I like to get everything on the same page, but yeah, so far everything has looked absolutely fantastic. We've gotten everything done pretty quickly here, but we will be getting this field completed, and then we will move over to using the plow to expand that field into a gigantic field. That's going to be essentially a 30 to 32 acre field. To put that into perspective, remember it's 16 acres per lot, and that's going to be basically 2 full lots of field. So that's basically a 32 acre field. That is massive in this game. Now I'm sure somebody out there will point out that there are modded maps and stuff that have some massive fields and stuff like 4 corners or not 4 corners, 4 fields and stuff like that. Even the Waseka map, I think, has some fields that are bigger than that, but still, for what it is, and when you consider how much forestry we've had to cut out to make this work, because again, this was a forestry, or is a forestry map. It is meant to showcase the forestry side of things, and I feel like we've done that. We've got our beautiful forestry set up over there, where we can get money at any point. It's literally our tree bank. That's what we call it, our little tree bank over there. Because anytime we need to, we can make a withdrawal. Otherwise, it's just money in the bank. But, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this so far. But it is time to go ahead and set up our next field expansion, and that is the big field over here. So we're going to drop that. We're going to grab our plow, and this will probably be part of the time lapse as we plow the field to prepare it for our first ever massive field. Like this is, like I said, this is going to end up being almost 32 acres. Because if you look at the map, like this is almost one full plot, which is about 16 acres, right? We're missing a little chunk down here because of the road. We're missing a little chunk up here because of the forest. Once we buy this, we'll clear this forest, and then we'll join these up. Then we'll have essentially an entire grid square of field, with the exception of where the road goes through, right? And like I said, this is the part that we're adding on. So by the time we're done, this is going to be essentially 32.4 acres. That's crazy. That is a lot of field. So let's get this over here. And I did go ahead and leave the top of the field, or the trees here towards the top of the field, because I wanted to make sure that we had the ability to see where we're at. You can see right now we are over the line, which is not ideal. So what I might do is just start at the bottom, work our way up next to the road. We should be able to go pretty much all the way to the north here. So that shouldn't be an issue. Alright. So yeah, we will just drag this right along the road. We will have to keep an eye on the map, though. That is pretty much the border of our property. So then we'll just take this over. Should be able to go right along this section right through here. And that's about that. So now we go from here straight down and connect this up with the rest of it. And that should keep us well within line. We're basically just aiming for the edge of the field right there. Look at that. Man, I'm good at that. That was an eyeball heading, and we managed to perfectly line that up. That was beautiful. Alright, let's get this area filled in now, guys.
That forest stood tall right next to my beans, blocking out the light, busting up my dreams. So I fired up the saw, let the engines roar. One tree down, then 100 more. We're clearing land and feeling right, swinging that axe from day to night. Pull the stumps, roll through twice. Next year's harvest gonna be twice as nice as nice. Plow, shiny and new, ripped up the topsoil, let the earth come through. Watch that time lapse, dirt flying by. Hard work's paying off under that open sky. Yeah, we're clearing land and feeling right, working this ground with all our might. Blood and diesel, sweat and ice. Next year's harvest gonna be twice as nice as nice. From a field so small to one so wide, we carved this out with farmer pride. Logs are gone, roots dug deep. This land's ours now, and the soil runs sweet. So when the soybeans start to rise, I'll tip my hat to cloudy skies, 'cause we built this field with calloused hands. Now it's twice as nice, this patch of land. Start to rise, I'll tip my hat to cloudy skies. 'Cause we built this field with calloused hands. Now it's twice as nice, this patch of land.
Alright, so we have this all set up and ready to go. Look at the size of that field, y'all. Does that not look absolutely fantastic, or am I just crazy? I might be crazy. Maybe it's the Midwesterner in me coming out, but just imagine this entire field filled with some tall corn or some soybeans. Look at that. Field as far as the eye could see almost. Look at this. If we stand all the way up here. Look at that. That is massive, man. Let's go ahead and save real quick, and then I'll show you guys the updated map. Just like that, we have our road going right next to the field. That is the one thing that's limiting us there. But other than that, I mean, look at the size of this field. Now, again, we will have to lime everything. So that brings me to my next thing. I kind of want to go over and get Little Green, which should be this one. I want to put the lime spreader on it. And I want to fill it with lime. I can't remember if Lil Green struggles or not. Or if we have to put a weight on this. I forget. Okay, seems like it's fine. We'll unload the fertilizer out here like we usually do. It usually offloads to the right, I believe. So we'll just drop it right here. There we go. We'll fill this with lime. And then I'm going to set the AI to auto-buy lime so that it can just continue to do the fields and get the fields limed up and we don't have to think about it. So we are going to throw lime in this thing. Yep, I was worried about that. Lime apparently is heavier than the fertilizer. Which makes sense because lime is more of a powder, whereas the fertilizer is kind of granular. So let's go find our weight and throw the weight on the front of this thing. I think our weight's right in here. But hopefully this will be enough to keep the front end down. Otherwise, we might have to put the trailer back on it too. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so like I said, we will set the AI to auto-buy lime. We'll get them started on liming the smaller of the two fields. And then I will get the Dalbo and the red tractor, the big red, to start doing the other field with the cultivator, or disc harrow, to get that field all set up and good to go. And again, this might be one of those times where having a second disc harrow would come in handy. Then again, we don't really have a second tractor. I mean, other than this, but this tractor is going to be doing liming. All right, we'll set this up so that it can do that. And then I need to go into settings, go to down to the bottom of this, I believe. AI can absolutely buy fertilizer, which I believe also works for lime. So this used to say lime and fertilizer, but it's a fertilizer spreader. It should work. We'll know because our money is going to rapidly deteriorate. So let's see what happens. And the reason we're doing this is, like I said, we want to get the fields on the same lime. You'll see that the parts that we just plowed need limed, right? So there you go. So all the stuff that we just did needs limes. So we're just going to have them go ahead and get both fields on the same lime schedule. And then we won't have to worry about it. But you can see up in the top right-hand corner, we are going to be losing a lot of money quickly. Because it does cost more to have your AI. I think it's about 1.5 times the normal price. So it's about a 50% increase on what you would be spending otherwise. But let's go ahead and get drop this plow off real quick. We will grab the cultivator and start disc harrowing. Not gonna lie though, this is gonna be a while, but we should be able to do it, no problem. Look at the size of that field, man. That is crazy. It is basically 32 acres, give or take. It's at least 30. But it should be fine. 2 headlands passes should be good. Everything should be set up perfectly fine. We will just go to the top of the field, start with the headlands up there. Let's go ahead and unfold this. I say start with the headlands. We actually shouldn't start with the headlands. We should start with the down and backs. So it means we actually want to start down this way. Wherever the first row is. I believe that is the first row. Just like that. That was the whole first row. Alright, and with that, I am going to go ahead and time-lapse this, because y'all will be here all day otherwise.
Dust clouds dancing in the setting sun. This is the groove where we make our stand. Living the rock life with dirt on our hands.
Alrighty, so we managed to get all of the cultivating done. The AI is currently working on liming that field. I'm hoping there's enough money left to do that. We might have to sell off some furniture, which would be not ideal, but if we got to do it, we got to do it. But we're gonna set, since we moved our, or since we got rid of our old trailers, we'll set this down here. And we'll take our Dalbo inside. We did end up buying a second Dalbo for the sole purpose of getting these bigger fields done a little bit quicker. We'll be able to use 2 tractors to do it because Little Green does have the ability to pull the Dalbo, which is great. And that allows us to essentially double our working width, which cuts our cultivating time in half, right? So it just makes sense. We'll drop the Dalbo there, and then we'll go get the other Dalbo, bring it in here as well. And it looks like we are, in fact, going to run out of money real soon. I was hoping that they'd get the whole field done, but that does not appear to be the case. Just goes to show you how much money it costs to run a farm, man. It's kind of crazy. Look how big this gigantic field is, man. So yeah, we're going to run out of money real quick, actually. Alright, though. We can make it work. We'll figure something out to get a little bit of money to finish this field off. But considering that was about $4,000 worth of lime right there, it just goes to show you just how big this field truly is. Alright, let's go ahead and fire this worker for the time being. We'll get little red or Big Red back up to the farm, drop the Dalbo off. Then we'll have to sell off some stuff in order to make some money to finish getting this field ready for planting next year. And then we've got to have enough money, but of course we'll pass time, so as we pass time we'll earn money from selling our wood products and whatnot, so that's not a big deal. We do plant in April, so we'll have a few months worth of normal stuff selling, like our beans and stuff like that getting sold. That'll make us money, so by the time planting season comes around, we're not going to have any issues there. But yeah, just a little bit expensive. Like I said, we ended up getting this thing, which was a splurge purchase. What do you call that? I say splurge purchase, but what do you call it? Kind of a, I don't know, one of those purchases that you didn't really plan for. You just kind of decided on in the moment, spur of the moment. That sort of deal. We'll put this Dalbo in here as well. And then we'll drop this off. Now, I did see some people telling me I should probably just go ahead and start selling off the furniture automatically. The reason I haven't done that, if you look at the overall prices for furniture, if you look at furniture, right there, its highest price is $2,000 per 1,000 liters. Its lowest price is $1,744. So we, at its lowest price, will be losing about $300 a pallet, which is a bit excessive. But I also understand why you guys are saying that, so I think I will go ahead and set the furniture to selling as well. Whoops, that is not what I wanted. But yeah, we will go ahead and change output to selling. Whoops. Okay, apparently I can sell all of them at once. Okay. So yeah, from now on, our furniture should just sell on its own. We'll take these over to the shop real quick. Oh yeah, Mac is... We're going to have to jump in Mac and bring Bucky back over. Forgot about that. I do have a couple of other projects for Bucky in the near future. I do want to clear a little bit of the room next to the road's immediate vicinity on this end of the field, or on this end by the farm and that end by the town. I will be like giving us a little bit more leeway in terms of the road goes. You wouldn't have trees this close to the road most of the time. I mean, out in the middle of nowhere, I guess it's not impossible. Like the road I grew up on, we definitely had some trees that were real close to the road. So if you went off the road, you're going to have a bad day. But if we have the opportunity to make the road a little bit wider, or not necessarily make the road wider, but give ourselves a little bit more leeway in terms of the road, then I think that would be a good idea. But for now, we need to unload Bucky. Not sure where Bucky should sit for the time being, but I think we'll just put him over here. Let's go ahead and raise the implement. Alright. We'll just park Bucky right over here. And we'll load up this furniture real quick. Shouldn't take us too long. We don't need it to be perfect. We got what's sitting here plus like an extra 9 pallets, I think. Bit of lag. We have done a lot to the game today, so it's not that surprising that we're getting a little bit of frame drop. And when you think about cutting down an entire freaking forest, and then you then turn that giant forest into a giant field, and then we cultivated that field, now we're liming that field. That is a lot of game state change in one episode. Plus, we do have a lot of equipment now. So there's that. Alright, well. Strap those in. It looks like the other ones aren't going to spawn in, so they should sell off whenever. We'll take these in real quick. This should give us hopefully enough money to finish the field in terms of liming. Even if we're not going to get maximum price for our furniture, it should be fine. Get these dropped off, and then we'll get the AI worker back on liming that field. Look at that thing, man. That field is crazy. It is easily the biggest field that I've had so far in Farm Sim 25. I know there are maps that are going to have bigger fields than that and stuff, but still, that's basically 32 acres of field. So I'm pretty happy with that. The dream is becoming a reality out here, right? Slowly but surely. I know some of you guys have talked about, you know, maybe getting a little bit more done each episode, but there's only so much I can get done in an episode without making it like a 4-hour-long episode. Trying to keep the episodes between 30 minutes and an hour long, somewhere in that neighborhood. Seems like a pretty solid episode. And I don't want every video to be just, you know, 30 minutes of time lapse. That's the other thing. Try to keep the time lapses within reason as well. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. We've gotten a lot done. Okay, believe it's selling off the trailer right now with them not being unstrapped. I think that's supposed to work like that. Normally, if they're strapped in, you can't sell them. But $14,000 should be plenty, so let's get the AI back to work, shall we? Enter vehicle. Go ahead and set the AI to get back to work. Of course, I end up in every vehicle except for Mac. There we go. We'll get Mac back over to the property. Trying to think of what else. I was going to talk to you guys about the dried corn, okay? So we did install the mod that's going to allow us to dry our corn, which is going to give us basically double the money for our corn, which is nice. That brings the viability of our corn up quite a bit compared to our soybeans, where our soybeans currently give us about $30,000 more per harvest than our corn would. Well, by adding in the new ability to dry corn, we're going to be able to, at some input cost, which is going to be like methane and wood chips. Of course, we have plenty of wood chips. That's not going to be an issue. But with using some of our wood chips for the production, as well as methane, we're going to be able to dry our corn, which is going to get us more money per 1,000 liters. About double the price that we normally would get, which is great, because that makes corn viable, which is something that I think the game should have already. Like, make a way that corn can actually be worth the investment, because right now corn really isn't. Like, if you go base game, corn just doesn't make much sense to grow, because yeah, you get more volume out of it, but it's worth less than if you just grow soybeans. So this at least gives us a reason to grow corn, and we can keep up with our crop rotation too. But it'll give us a production that uses our wood chips, so that we're not just holding on to wood chips until they're sold. So it gives us a reason to have wood chips, you know. And I think that's a part of farming, right? You always try to like look for ways to utilize everything, right? It's not just about, what we started with. We still use the sawmill. We're still cutting down the forest back here. We're still using all of this land up here. We haven't really cut the grass off of it, but that'll be coming soon enough. All this grassland is here for a reason, folks. It's going to get used. And as we start to increase our farm to having animals and stuff like that on it, this is going to get used for like cattle or buffalo or goats or sheep or something. We haven't figured out what we want to do just yet, but something along those lines. Maybe all the above. Who knows? But we've had quite a few deer running around, which has been fun. But the main thing is that we're going to be able to get everything done and utilize stuff to the best of our ability. And I think that's what farming's all about. So if we look at construction, the thing that I'm looking for is under factories. We should be able to find it. It should be a corn dryer. Grain drying shed. This is the one that I'm going to get. There is a bigger version, which is this gigantic thing. This is a grain drying silo. Look at the size of this building. Look at this. All right, this is a little too big for what we have, right? Like, we don't need this big of a building. And believe it or not, this plus the shed, same thing. This one just has a bigger holding capacity. This will hold 800,000 liters. The other one holds 500,000 liters, something like that. So this is the one that I'm after. This fits with our aesthetic a lot better, right? We can set this in pretty much anywhere. Might have to level off stuff a little bit. It is going to cost us $40,000 to set down. But I feel like this area right over here would be good for it. We could also add it into this area right over here. Just kind of put it over here. But I kind of want to keep it near our other stuff. Now, obviously, I don't want to put it right here, because if we put it here, then we're kind of in the middle of everything, right? Now we could put it up here, but also look at the ground. We're gonna have to kind of make this work, right? It is gonna take a little bit of terraforming to pull this off, but you can see, like, as you go down here, how much terraforming there's going to be. Up here, there's not as much terraforming because we've already done the terraforming, but there is some that's going to be required. But I thought maybe putting it back here would be a good option. Obviously, we can move the headers out the way, put it a little bit closer over here. And I think that would be a good idea. That still gives us room to get in and out of the back, gives us room to make sure that we have access to our silo and our equipment here to load up the silos. But that's going to allow us to put that in. We can keep the silo here because even though we're going to have a place that's going to hold our corn and stuff, when we get into other grains, we might need to use it for that. You know, not every grain is going to be usable for the drying. Like, I'm fairly confident we can't do soybeans over here yet. So you can see that it'll take corn. It takes, I think, what looks like hay, but oats, wheat, but it takes wood chips as well, and methane. Methane and wood chips are what gives us the ability to dry the corn. But corn, oats, wheat, and I don't know if that's sorghum. We can look real quick while we're waiting for the AI to finish up. So it's barley, corn, oats, and wheat, I believe. Yeah. And, of course, each one of those can be dried and get you extra yield off of your crop, or extra money off your crop by drying the stuff first. So, again, it's not a free mod. Like, it is a free mod. It's in the mod hub. But I'm saying, like, it's not a free increase. You have to use methane, so you have to buy the equipment and buy the ability to transport methane, as well as you have to be able to buy the methane itself. We have the wood chips already available that we can bring over and fill it up. Like I said, I'm probably going to move these headers out the way and put the building right here, because I feel like that would be a good idea. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, because I am very interested in what you guys think. I think it would be a good addition to the farm, specifically for the corn. The other grains and stuff that we might get into later, I don't know if we need to get into that, because when we get into, like, wheat and stuff, we're not looking to sell the wheat necessarily. We can turn it into flour and stuff like that when we start building up the town and building, like, a flour mill and all that stuff. But all that's going to come with time. But it looks like the AI is almost finished over here, so I think we'll just let this happen. Just taking them a while. The headlands are always weird with the AI, because the AI just takes forever to do a headlands. But overall, we managed to get a lot done today. We managed to chop up an entire forest with Bucky. We managed to extend both of our fields to being much larger. So that's going to give us the ability to harvest roughly, between the two fields, about 48 acres. It's not quite 48 acres, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood. So we'll call it 45 acres for good measure. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 acres total that we're going to be able to harvest now when it comes time to planting and harvesting. So pretty happy about that. And that's going to go up over time as well, because we are going to be adding other fields. And we will be growing some other stuff, as well as getting into animals soon enough. But the last thing I wanted to check on was our statistics. You guys know that it's been a while since I've checked out the statistics on the farm. How many hours have we played on this series? And all of that. So you can see that total hours is 153 hours for this so far. We are 15 years into our playthrough. That is a lot of years. In terms of worked acres, we've apparently worked 207.95 acres. Interesting. So yeah, it looks like if you look at the sprayed hectares, or the acres for us, it's 40 and a half. So it is literally 40 and a half acres, these two fields, that we get to harvest and plant next year. So pretty happy about that. We're still using our older tractors as well as we can, but look at these ginormous fields, man. Like it's crazy to think just how much we've done in just one episode. Look how much extra we've done in one episode. Like, look at this. That is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? But with that being said, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.